Frida Kahlo and Chavela Vargas, The Rebel and the Songbird, Mexico 1940s. When two storms meet, you don't get peace, you get thunder. That's exactly what happened when Frida Kahlo, Mexico's most haunting painter, crossed paths with Chavela Vargas, the singer whose voice could make the sky tremble. Frida was already famous, a woman who painted her pain with unapologetic color, who turned her suffering into something almost holy. Chavela was just arriving in Mexico, wild and unrefined, a Costa Rican-born performer who wore men's clothes, smoked cigars, and sang love songs usually reserved for men, not as parody, but as truth. They met through mutual friends in the smoky gatherings of Mexico City's bohemian elite, the poets, painters, and dreamers who filled rooms with laughter and longing. Frida's husband, Diego Rivera, often hosted such evenings. It was there that Chavela sang raw, aching, vulnerable, and Frida listened. Somewhere between the music and the silence, something unspoken passed between them. Chavela would later say she was mesmerized by Frida's beauty, yes, but also her strength. She was strong, very strong. Chavela remembered decades later. She had a power that could make the sky move. For a time, Chavela lived at La Casa Azul, Frida's cobalt blue home in Coyoacán. Their connection was intimate, a mix of admiration, affection, and artistic fire. It wasn't public, it couldn't be. In 1940s Mexico, such love was whispered, never shouted. But it was real. Real enough that both of them carried its memory for the rest of their lives. Frida was married to Diego, but theirs was an open marriage, tangled with other lovers, other passions. What she shared with Chavela wasn't about rebellion or scandal. It was about recognition, two women who saw in each other the same defiance, the same hunger to live freely in a world that demanded restraint. Both refused to be tamed. Frida painted her pain, her body, her lovers, men and women alike, with brutal honesty. Chavela sang men's songs of heartbreak, standing alone on a stage, wrapped in a poncho, her voice trembling with power. They both turned vulnerability into strength. Their affair didn't last long, months, perhaps, but its echo lived on. Frida's health began to fail. Chavela went on to become a legend. Decades later, she would sing songs inspired by that brief connection, her voice older now, but still full of fire. Frida taught me that love doesn't need permission, she said. Only courage. And that's what their story really was, not a scandal, not a secret, but an act of courage. Two souls bound by art, pain, and passion, daring to love when the world said they shouldn't. In the end, Frida died in 1954. Chavela lived almost 60 years more, performing into her 90s, fierce, untamed, and still singing to the ghosts of her past. When she spoke of Frida, her eyes softened. There was no regret, only remembrance. Quote to remember: Frida taught me that love doesn't need permission, only courage. Chavela Vargas, C. History of the Queer. Written factually based on Vargas's 2002 autobiography, interviews, BBC El País, and biographies of Frida Kahlo.